Hi, everyone. I'm Kimberly DePersia, the artistic director of All the Line Studio and Incubator. On July 23rd, we have our Next Step Screenplay series, Short Scene Night, which is 12 different scenes from 12 different screenplays, spanning different genres, writers, all different things. It's going to be a wonderful show for everyone. So we hope you can come on out. It's going to be at Aloma Cinema Grill. And in anticipation of this, we are doing a series of writer interviews for our screenwriters. And today we have Amaris Gagnon, who is the writer of Loud Empty Houses. So, welcome, Amaris. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Thank you for selecting my scene.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, tell us a little bit about the overall premise for your screenplay.
Yeah, so it's about a young woman. It is a coming home story. And she goes back to her small town after she got like a movie produced, and it's based on her past experiences growing up in that town. And the people that she features in that movie, they're kind of mad at her when she comes back home because they're like, you depicted us as a bunch of racists, or that's not true. So she's already having that backlash, even though the movie was successful. But she came back because she's lost and she's looking for something. So when she comes back, she finds out that her parents have divorced without telling her and that they're selling her childhood home. So she makes this crazy decision to rent it and to try to hold on as much as she can to this past version of her life. But while she's in the house, she starts having these weird dreams where she gets to relive certain memories of her past. And then as she works through those dreams, she realizes that a lot of her memories, even the good ones, are only through her perspective. And she didn't realize how much her family was in pain throughout her childhood. And that the divorce her parents had was not out of the blue, because like there was a lot of things she just never picked up on as a kid. So it's really just explores the theme of growing up. It is like a coming of age for adults and having to let go of that past of ourselves, like our childhood, which was something I had to do at like 26, 27.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love the premise. It is something that I think everyone can relate to, no matter what stage you are at in your life. Um, so yeah, what was the inspiration for writing this?
I mean, I left my hometown at 20 years old to Los Angeles to be in film and TV. And I felt like every time I would come back home, things would be a little less familiar. Certain friends would move away. People weren't the same. And it killed me inside that even like my family, like my dad's hair was a little bit grayer. Things were a little bit more decrepit at home. Relationships weren't the same, that I couldn't hold on to this life that I left. I left first. I know it's like, well, Amaris, if you wanted to stay here, you could have stayed, but I had to go do this dream of LA and Hollywood, um and I'm still trying for it, but I guess like nothing ever happens the same way twice. You can't leave a place and expect it to still be there waiting. People move on. And I think that's something I'm still grappling with as I'm in my 30s now and people like really are getting older. And I think that's something a lot of people can resonate with at all ages, like leaving something behind and coming back to it unfamiliar.
Yeah, 100%. Even if you stay, there are changes. People leave, people, pass on, the your favorite restaurant closes. Like there's all different things where there's these chapters of our lives, and you don't necessarily know like when it's going to end, but it does, and then you have to deal with change, which I think your script just really handles that, like that going that process, that feeling, going through that and experiencing that as a person. It does such a really good job of that. It's a beautiful script. And so thank you. And so as we're just kind of lifting one, it's kind of like two scenes back to back that are very close. Is there anything that the audience should be aware of? Just seeing this play like lifted out of context from the screenplay?
Yeah, right before that scene, Marley, our protagonist, she spends her first like week in the house, and she has one of those like nightmare memory dream scenarios that happens, and she gets to talk to her mom when she was a little girl, and her neighbor Ruth, her very nosy neighbor Ruth, comes over and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm next door. I thought you guys moved out." And Marley meets her for the first time, and she explains to Ruth like about this dream. And that so like what happens before is just the first set of dreams that all sort of become like a puzzle that fits together by the end. And I suppose like besides some of the other characters, like some of the other people who are mad at her, like she's not talking to her sister. Her older sister refuses to speak to her, so she's also grappling with this tension in the family between her and her sister. And then we have a secondary lead, her best friend Allison, who parallels Marley and that she stayed behind. And as Marley complains about leaving, Allison is like, "Well, at least you left. Like, I'm still here. I've been here and it sucked." So, like, you got to chase something that you wanted as the rest of us stayed in this freaking town. So, Marley's just dealing with a lot of things that something that should have felt happy and great is not. And
Mhm.
that's okay.
Yeah, I love that. That's all extremely like useful and relevant information for the audience to kind of process of being like, yeah, when Marley's talking about these dreams, like if you were watching the whole movie, the screenplay, you'd see her experiencing this dream that she's talking about with her mother and all that backstory and everything. So yeah, I think I'm shout out, I'm directing this for the showcase. And I love working with the material. I think the two actresses that are playing Marley and Ruth are phenomenal. And so I think this is going to be a really, really excellent scene, in addition to the whole night just being fantastic. So it's just been a pleasure to work on this. So thank you for sharing your script and writing with us. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wrote this when I was 26. I'm 32 now. And I've overcome some of those feelings of angst and like having to let go. So I just never thought any part of this script would see the light of day because I mean I've been writing more and more, so I have just more material now. But it's been such a gem to go back to Loud Empty Houses because I haven't like revisited this script in so long. And I just remember, oh my God, that's right. I used to be so sad.
Oh, I
That
love that.
yeah.
Yeah, that I mean that's part of the reason why we do Next Step, because it's designed as like you write something and like there's so many steps that have to happen before it gets filmed, especially if it's a feature. So like to have it be that next step of like we're gonna get this on its feet, we're gonna like give life to it, see these characters, alive and in the space and everything. So I'm so excited that it could be a part of what we're presenting. So well,
Hmm.
thank you. And thanks again for joining us. And for those that are tuning in, July 23rd, Aloma Cinema Grill. Make sure to get your tickets, and we hope to see you there. So thanks again for joining
Yeah.
us.
Thank you.
Welcome.